Okay, we have two more exercises to do. So that will be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 problems that we did together, and I expect to see the 10 in the paper that you write on whenever you turn into the substitute. All right, so let's work with number 45. It says write log equation into exponential. So this type of question is exactly like the type of question we actually had at the beginning. However, what's the difference? Instead of log, now we are using what? Natural log. That's right. So it's still the same process. So let's go ahead and copy and paste that. But again, instead of log, I'm going to use natural log. So let's go ahead and write that. So I have my template, which is, and I'm going to change this to natural log. So let me just start over again from scratch. So, well, here, I'll change this to natural log of, and I'll put this right here. X. Okay, so even though you don't see it, we know that natural logs, well, all natural logs have bases of what? E, exactly. So what you need to do is remember that you have a base A, so there is an A right here underneath. And the reason why I can't do this in my program is because it's assumed that the base of natural logs is E, so you don't even have to write down that base. But I'll actually change it so that you can be able to see it. So let's go ahead and write it that way. Okay, so you have natural log of x base a equals y, and then I wrote the exponential. Okay, so if we line up our letters with the appropriate numbers, a obviously is the base, and we know that the base for a natural log is e. X matches up with what value? 1/2 exactly, and then y matches up with what value? Negative 0.693. Good. So we're writing an exponential, so let's go ahead and rewrite this and then into exponential. So therefore we have a, which is our base, and we know that the base of all natural logs is e. Excellent. So we have e to the y. Well, in this case, what does our y match up to? Right, negative 0.693. So that's exactly what I'm going to use as my exponent. And then we have equals x. Well, what is the x in this case? 1/2, exactly. So equals 1/2. And actually what happens is if you type this in your calculator, you should get the same thing. So let's go ahead and just look at the calculator. Let me open up the calculator application on this computer. So I have E. I'm looking for my E if I have it. And I don't think I have the E function on this calculator. Let's look at programming or statistics. No, I don't have that. So let's stick to scientific. Okay, it's not working, so that's okay. What I'll do is I'll do 2.17828 and raise it to the negative 0.693, and that should give us something close to 0.5. So yes, as you can see, it gave me 0.58. So you should get something around there. I believe E is 2.71828, somewhere around there. I may be incorrect because I don't have that number memorized, but you get the idea. So This is the actual rewritten part of the natural log written into exponential. Okay, so let me go ahead and highlight that and actually color it in black. All right, so there we go. And then the next question that we have is question 53. So let's go ahead and copy that down. We have, this is 53. It says write the exponential equation. So this one's backwards. Exponential equation into log equation. So again, let's go ahead and use these two templates that we modified because we're using natural logs. And the one that they gave us, the problem that they gave us e cubed. So we have e cubed equals 20.0855 ... Okay, now that ... basically means that it goes on forever. And actually there is a ... here in this one. So maybe that's why we didn't get an exact answer, because what we did is we rounded this decimal to just 0.693. We didn't use the entire decimal. So that's probably one of the reasons why we didn't exactly get 1/2. So let's go back to 53. We have e cubed equals 20.0855 and so on and so forth. We have to rewrite into log equations. So if you notice, let's just go ahead and match up our letters with the appropriate numbers or values. The A matches up with the E, correct? So let's go ahead and color that red. The Y in this case matches up with what? 3, exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and make that green. And then we have the X value, which matches up with what? Right, the 20.08555, etc. Okay, so then now we have to just rewrite into this form the natural log of x base a equals y. Well, in this case, we have natural log of, okay, well, what is our x? Great, our x is a 20.0855. Now, I don't mind. You can keep those dots. You don't have to have those dots. You won't ever see an equation or a natural log problem with those dots. So just go ahead and keep them away. Equals, and then it's supposed to match up our y. And in this case, our y is what? 3, exactly. So again, you don't need the base, because we know and it's assumed that the base of all natural logs will always and forever be what? E. Exactly. So our answer in this case is natural log of 20.0855 is approximately equal to 3. So let's go ahead and highlight that as my answer. Alright, so let's just go ahead and let me double check. So I'm going to actually type that in the calculator. And you should get something close to what it's saying it is. So I'm going to say, let's see, I may have to, okay, yes, I'm going to have to type in my number first. So I'm going to type in 20.0855, and I'm going to click my natural log button, because this one has to be done backwards than y'all's calculator. But anyways, if I do that, I get that my answer is 2.999998161,701. So y'all should have gotten something like that. And of course, that rounds to what value? 3. So seems pretty reasonable that this is our correct answer. Okay, so again, we're done with these. I ask that you please make sure that you write your name on your paper. You make sure that it is in pencil, and you make sure that you turn this into the substitute. I repeat, if you do not turn this in, then it will be a 0 in my gradebook. No excuses at all except for the ones that were absent. And the substitute will check roll, so don't use the excuse that you weren't here, because I will know if you were here or you weren't here, or if you were here or you weren't. Okay. Besides that, I am done. I hope that you have a great long weekend. I will be here on Monday. Have a happy Easter, by the way. I will be here on Monday. However, I will be administering the tax test, so I won't get to see you all. But you do have a quiz on Monday. It will be open, well, not open book because you won't have books, but it will be open note quiz. Again, I said open note. I did not say it's going to be a partner or a group or a class quiz. It is an open note quiz which you will take individually on your own. On Tuesday, we will review because you will have a test on Wednesday over sections 3.1 and 3.2. These are very easy sections. I believe that if you thought my last test was easier, this test will be a lot easier. And trust me, some of y'all still need an easy test grade. And then after Wednesday also on Wednesday will be the official deadline for your presentation grades. Coming back on Monday, I will try to sneak away and come to you into the relocated room. I believe you're going to be somewhere in A Hall, but I'll let you know how many presentation grades you have. And a Wednesday will be the deadline for those. If I don't get them by Wednesday, then of course it will be a 0. Thursday will be your last project day for you, and then Friday will be the launch day if weather permits. Otherwise, we won't get to launch them on Friday if it's raining or something, but it is still due on Friday. Paper, blueprint, and I would have to see your rocket. It has to be complete. Again, have a good Easter weekend, and I hope to see you next week.